SSL verifies somebody who's trying to access those sites
Mm-hmm.
through something that's called a heartbeat. And the way the heartbeat works is if you're sitting at home and you go to https://www.bankofamerica.com, you talk to this server that's using OpenSSL and you say, hey, I'm Mr. X and my password is 6 digits long.
Mm-hmm.
And that server would say, oh, yes, you told me that your password is 6 digits long. I believe that you're Mr. X. I'm going to let you right on through. And the weakness is they never really check to see if the home user who was trying to access the site really was who they said they were. And that was called the heartbeat. And they took a shortcut. And this is where the vulnerability comes in. The shortcut is they would say, okay, you told me that your password is 6 digits long. Your password is 6 digits long, so I'm going to let you through. But the problem with that is your neighbor could say, hey, I'm going to pretend I'm Mr. X and I'm going to say my password's six digits long. Are you going to let me in? And that server would say, yes, I am going to let you right on through. So people, where the vulnerability comes in is your neighbor could pretend to be you, or
Mm-hmm.
any hacker or somebody who wanted to steal your bank information. They could pretend to be you, and your own server that's supposed to be safe would believe you. And the good news is they patched it, but not every server out there has patched itself.
How can a user protect themselves from these kind of openings or flaws in the setup?
You have to put a lot of trust in your server. The only person that can patch this vulnerability is the whoever is hosting that server. You, the user at home,
Mm-hmm.
actually can't protect yourself other than avoiding sites that haven't been patched yet. So we're all still pretty vulnerable. We have to trust that these websites and the places that host these websites are
Sure.
actually looking out for our best interests, and they're going to put the patch in so we're not vulnerable to this anymore. But I'll tell you a really interesting side story here. As far as a hacker being able to exploit this weakness in
Mm-hmm.
the technology, that just came to light recently. But what we discovered is that the NSA has been using this weakness all along, and the NSA themselves were able to pretend to be other people that they weren't. They could pretend to be me and you, and they've been exploiting this weakness for years, and they didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew.
Son of a gun. So is our information online safe, Corey?
That's a really good question, Rob. I think the bigger companies with the most resources, like
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, like Bank of America, they have put the patch in place, so we're safe now as long as we are using sites that have applied the patch. And there's actually a logo that we're starting to become familiar with just over the last couple of weeks. You can go to a site now, and one of the first things they'll tell you for right now is, yes, we're safe from Heartbleed.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll tell you how else we can be safe. My personal bank doesn't use that OpenSSL technology. It was part of that 1/3 of servers that never even used it. So as long as that host or server never used OpenSSL, then you're safe. But you really have to put a lot of trust in these companies to tell you when you're safe and when you're not. There's not so much you can do as a user to protect yourself.
You know, when you hear the stories about the U.S. Navy's website and the U.S. Marines getting hacked, and they're looking at hackers in Russia, they're looking at hackers in Iran, they're looking at hackers in China. If the United States government can't protect their own servers and their own websites, how can John Q. public?
The biggest tool that we have at our disposal is education, and it's really hard because we're all busy throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day. You know, we have to go to work, we need to spend time with our families, and to be safe, you also have to set aside time just to educate yourself about the issues. And I just know that a lot of people don't even have time to keep up with it. But if you make that conscious effort to educate yourself, you can be safer than you otherwise would be.
There are companies out there like McAfee, and the list goes on, that offer software that supposedly protects you. Do these software companies really have a product that can protect you, or is this based on the technology when you buy it, and by the time 6-7 months rolls down, I might even be sooner than that, the ability to beat their technology is already accomplished?
Well, I will start with this. Some protection is better than no protection. McAfee is not perfect. Norton or Symantec, they are not perfect, but definitely using those services is better than not using any service at all. So in that sense, they're good products. But I'll tell you, the hackers, they actually do spend time trying to break those antivirus tools. And sometimes new threats come along that the existing antivirus tools aren't prepared for. So when that happens, your best backup move is to use more than one tool. And I have to be careful when I say that, because you don't want to use more than one antivirus at the same time, because they can conflict with each other. But there are multiple security products that work in tandem with each other, and you can use several security products simultaneously.
All right, Corey, stand by, good friend. Great talking to you, Corey. Exonation Corey K is our guest. Wait a minute, I was giving you a website there. Why don't we just send your emails to coreyk@rel-mar.com. Corey and I will be back on the other side of the news as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X Zone radio show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Joyce with Stargazing for the X Zone for the week of April 28th. The sun will look like a ring of fire above some remote parts of the southern hemisphere on Tuesday during a solar eclipse, but most people around the world won't get a chance to see it. Whereas lunar eclipses occur when there's a full moon, the solar eclipse only happens during a new moon. Half the world saw the blood moon lunar eclipse during the full moon of April 15th. Tuesday's eclipse will occur when the moon is closest to its farthest distance from the Earth, making it too small to cover the sun completely. The resulting effect looks like a ring of fire called an annulus, and that appears as a silhouette around the moon. Remember, when there's a new moon, there's no moon at all. The worldly application of a Taurus solar eclipse is to help you get in touch with your core values. It blocks out personal ego desires to go right to what your inner spirit wants to manifest. The opportunity is to bring higher values and greater beauty into your life now. The new moon and solar eclipse on Tuesday may send the world into a mild tizzy. Watch North Korea and the Ukraine for major upsets with governments. But you will get another opportunity to consolidate whatever advantages you have gained over the past few months. A Taurus new moon is excellent for putting practical effort into your needs and desires. Health and wellness options get a boost early in the week, perhaps prompting you to consider a new diet or exercise routine. There's also positive news on the work front, as changes can mean a boost in earnings or a promotion. If you've been applying for a new job, you may get some good news. Later, Venus glides into Aries, which brings romance and pleasure. Look, your love life is looking much livelier. Enjoy a few social outings. It might help take your mind off some more stressful matters. Perhaps you want to make some changes in your home, new furniture, paint, whatever. Whatever comes your way, you'll probably put a lot of energy into it, so focus and accomplish what you want. Because there's lots of planets in unmovable signs, Taurus and Scorpio, as May opens on Thursday, be careful of stubborn my way or the highway thinking. Warrior Mars is still retrograde until May 19th. Consider what is dead in your life and needs to be released. Know that your highest path is shown if you go into your inner self to seek direction. Continue with hard work early in the week, and then make time for a variety of fun as the month of April ends under a Gemini moon. Gemini wants to keep things on the move, talk to a lot of people, and does not get bogged down in any one thing. Enjoy May Day and the Kentucky Derby on Sunday. Time to plan for some summer fun.
For more information on Elizabeth Joyce, or if you'd like to get a hold of Elizabeth for a private one-on-one consultation, her website is www.new-visions.com. That's www.new-visions.com, and Elizabeth does consultations around the world via Skype. There you go. Corey, what's your impression of psychics? You know, you and I have worked the X Zone for I don't know how many years, and you would always line the guest up for me, and all I do is, you know, I do the interview. And did you ever talk to them, and did any of them give you one-on-one readings, and did any of their readings ever come to fruition?
Well, here's what I'll say. I think that they've all been nice, kind-hearted people. And, I definitely enjoyed talking to them. But at the same time, as far as specific predictions, I don't remember a time where they ever told me anything that wasn't dead on, or they would tell me things that could apply to anyone, really. Now, I'm not a total skeptic at all, and I hate to make blanket statements like that, but I'll just give you one example.
All right.
I was sitting in a psychic cafe one time. I thought I would just give it a whirl, and she told me that I need to take up music again. And outside of 5th and 6th grade band, when I played a clarinet, which was pretty short-lived, I have never been a musical person my whole life, so sometimes they can be way off.
Yeah, I think you and I both know that for a fact. You know, if they are so gifted, how come they never get the lottery numbers? They don't find mines, and the list goes on and on and on. And then after the events of September the 11th, everybody said, "See, I predicted that," and not one of the psychics that we had on the show ever predicted anything like that, so I don't know. Before we get back to reminiscing about the good old days and some of the weirdest moments that you and I both had during the show, why do people invent these viruses that cause so much problems?
It is, and it's a bigger and bigger problem. Once upon a time, people did this for kicks. There were gifted programmers, and there was a certain amount of fun for them.